On to the next fixture. It's going to be Bournemouth versus Manchester City. Bournemouth just 1 point above relegation zone with Manchester City in second position, 2 points behind um, leaders Arsenal. Let's start with Manchester City this season and inconsistencies. They had the chance to go ahead of Arsenal. They didn't take that chance. The Champions League, it was a woeful second half against Red Bull
Leipzig.
Leipzig. What exactly is the problem? Because they had a wonderful match against Arsenal. You had a wonderful performance against Nottingham Forest. You didn't just
Awful
win.
match.
And you just turned around and you had this difficult match. How do you now? It's the Bournemouth game looks like a sure win on paper, but there's no confidence from
Yeah.
everyone. Tega, let's start with you. What do you think?
It looks like a show win, but then anything can happen in football. It might just be the other way around. They might get whooped. Because of inconsistency. They might get whooped, and at the same time, if it's a show win, I'm not going to be surprised. But I'm just being optimistic, and I hope City doesn't lose this match.
Okay. Uche, what can you pinpoint as what the manager needs to do in this game to bounce back in Pep Guardiola?
So first of all, I was saying a couple of weeks back, I know Pep tends to overthink things, but I feel like, and some City fans might come at me for this, but I feel like Haaland should be benched for a couple of games. It sounds outrageous, but I'll tell you why. What happens
Yeah.
if he tries to revert back? There's this cliche rhetoric that, oh, he makes them predictable and stuff like that. But he scored a lot. I think he scored over 30 goals already this season.
Yeah, he has
I'm talking
26
about
goals in the
Haaland.
leagues. Yeah,
In all competitions, I think over 30, if I'm not mistaken.
31 goals. He has
So,
26 in the
yeah,
league.
yeah. So the thing is, how about trying to play a false nine? He played a back three against Arsenal that worked. He managed to overwhelm our system of playing out from the back. And he went with the same, setup against Nottingham Forest. He managed to stifle them to just one goal and nicked a goal at the death, right? I feel like rather than, you know, completely altering the shape, why not play somebody else, the top nine? Maybe let Haaland sit for a couple of games or for just one game for this game, and you play somebody else up front. Perhaps you could play Foden, perhaps you could play Alvarez, and go back to the 4-3-3. Let Haaland sit down, play Foden as a false nine, or play somebody else. Just rotate the attack a bit and see what happens. Let's see what happens. Because I feel like with Holland, you have a focal point to mark. And in all those games where somebody stuck tight to him, I'm referring to uh, the game against United at Old Trafford, um, the
Against
game against
Liverpool
against
at
Liverpool
Anfield,
at
against
Anfield,
against Chelsea in the league.
absolutely against Chelsea in the league. It feels like you marking out or blunting the attack is a bit easier, right? I feel like because last season he played, a couple of guys at the in the number nine position, in the false nine position. I feel like if he tries that in this game, it just might work for them. It just might work for them. Rather than sticking with some people might not agree, but rather than sticking with Holland up front, try put somebody else there. Let's see what happens.
Okay. Ekene, do you think it's an attack problem because City has actually outscored everyone in the league, 60 goals? The closest to them is Arsenal with 51, and no other team has been on 50. But do you think it's more of a defensive problem? Because in the last 6 games, City has failed to keep a clean sheet in all competition, dating back to when they lost to Tottenham 1-0. So what do you think the main problem is? Because City can score goals.
No doubt.
Yeah. For me, I don't. I can't point to a reason like why City is playing badly. I can't because okay, let me just say their lineup this season has been so inconsistent. They have so many imagine Bernardo Silva playing as a left back,
Left back.
as a left back. he sold Cancelo to Bayern Munich. Sorry, loaned him to Bayern Munich. And he used Bernardo Silva as a left back. It doesn't make sense to me. You keep changing your defense, so there's no consistency in that defense. Now you see Mahrez is another player that is inconsistent again. Gundogan is not really playing anything. Um, Kevin De Bruyne is just, I don't know. Sometimes he's in the game, sometimes he's out of the game. There are so many things you can like. I don't really know what to point out for Manchester City. They are really inconsistent at the moment.
Okay. Michael, you have something to add? Please go ahead, please.
Yeah, definitely. I think City's problem is again, Alan came in, he scored so many goals. But I think Pep said it in the last press conference he gave after the Leipzig game. He said Alan makes the runs, but they should find him more. I think if the
But
City players
what about the times Alan misses from
yes,
6 yards and 8 yards? It's not just about finding him. Against the last game,
I
he
think
had a lot of chances and he missed.
I think
Against
he's
against
also a big
And also to
Leipzig,
add, also no, against Nottingham Forest, also to add, Alan has missed the most big chances in the
Big
Premier League.
chances in the Premier League. Yes, that's absolutely
I
And he
correct.
scored the
agree.
most
I
goals.
agree with that stat. No, that's what I'm trying to say. I think with his because if you watch City games, because I've watched not many, but I've watched a few, he makes so many good runs that he's barely found. I think they can probably find him maybe 2 out of the 10 times he's made really good runs. I don't know why he's missed a few chances, but he's proving his efficiency with the goals he's scoring. But I think just to come back to the game for this weekend, I think if you notice, anytime Pep doesn't make a change in a match, the next game, normally there are lots of changes, and those boys will be very hungry. Me personally, I see City because I think Pep is just a genius. I'm an Arsenal fan, but I think the way he manages his players. Look at what Mahrez is. Mahrez is doing so well now, considering he wasn't playing as good at the start of the season. I think someone like Foden that hasn't come on in a few games. I think this kind of game now he will make a lot of changes, and I think it'll be easy for them. Just my take, but I think City this season from now they are going to I don't know. Pep is just he's fantastic the way he manages his players, and it's a pleasure to watch him and everything.
Oh, I think I might not share. It was fantastic. It was fantastic because you obviously define a manager by his results,
Mhm.
right? And I think he's really been struggling this year. I I hear a lot of things, and I would want to put this out. Like Uche said, Uche made a very bold statement, bench Alan. I personally
Mm.
will say bench Ederson Moraes. You know, maybe it's just part of those trial and error. Ederson has really not been that great. He has the worst save ratio in the league. And maybe that might just be it. You might just need a goalkeeper that does something very good, that is able to make saves, you know. And I just think that is it. With Pep, there's been too much over enforcing himself as a leader of the clan. Let me say that. He's had a lot of falling out with a lot of players. And I think he's trying to stare and get this reaction from them. Like you bench a player for 2 games, you bring him on in, and he starts to give you good performances like you want that. But it's not been working. The consistency has been a problem from playing very well, thinking you're going to do so well in the league. Now you've gone 2 games without a win. And I don't think that really helps anyone. I don't think that really helps anyone. People like Gundogan are not really doing well in the team. So for this match, I feel there's a lot of threat from people like Otara, who is a very wonderful
Mm.
player because City's inconsistent formation for the left wing might really be a problem. The likes of Solanke can be there. We know how good Phil Billing can be, on the ball. And I see a lot of threats to that City side for this game in particular. And I really don't know. It's a match City should win, but I wouldn't be surprised if um if Bournemouth gets something positive from this. So with that, let me start predictions. I would expect Man City to win this game 3-1. I think City would not keep a clean sheet. Michael, let's go over to you.
I'm gonna be brave. I'm gonna say 5-0 City.
Oh wow, wow, wow. Wonderful, wonderful,
Yeah,
wonderful.
I don't
Uche,
like that, but I think they will.
okay.
I don't think 5-0. I think 5-0 is kind of outrageous. I think it's Well, yeah, I think City win. I think they win.
But
I think they
remember,
win
this is
3-0.
a game where they've played 11 times in the league, and City has won all 11 games in the Premier League.
All the 11
So
games, yes. All the 11 games.
Mm.
5-0.
It's
It'll
very
be
similar to
interesting.
the Arsenal game, right? Man City Arsenal, where City had won 10 games previously, and City added another victory.
Mhm. Yeah, I think there's no way City don't win that game. I think there's no way they don't win the game. I would go for a 3-0.
3-0
I'd
Man
go for a
City.
3-0. Yeah,
Okay,
I'll go for a 3-0.
Ekene.
Yeah. Every game, I always tip this club to win games, except against Arsenal. And they fumble the bag every time. Every time. I'm not going to tell you they are going to win the game tomorrow. So I think Bournemouth should get the results. I think maybe 1-1
And one Bournemouth.
to
Okay.
yeah, 1-1.
And Tega, your final prediction: Bournemouth versus Man City.
I'm gonna say 3-1. I'm City to win because I think they're not gonna keep a clean sheet. I think 3-1.
3-1 also.